Today on The Busy Fan, Dak Prescott signed a new contract, Les Miles is out at LSU, and college basketball action that happened yesterday, and what's coming forward and what you should expect in the world of college basketball.
This is real life, little home, that's why I stayed down. I done came up off that boy, look what I made now.
So today, Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys finally came to terms and were able to get a contract signed. It's a 4-year agreement. It's actually a 6-year agreement, but the NFL structures things in weird ways so that it goes a little bit longer and then they terminate the last couple of years because somehow they're able to stretch the salary cap out by doing that. So it's written as a 6-year deal. It'll actually only last 4 years, but the contract's worth $164 million in full. And in the NFL, if you ask any NFL player, they'll tell you contract value means nothing. They want to know what's guaranteed, and it's $126 million of that is guaranteed. $66 million as a signing bonus. So $66 million will come to Dak as soon as he signs pen to paper on that deal. So really good for him, especially after coming off of the injury that he had. A lot of people are saying, well, there's very mixed opinions on. Others are pointing to the fact that in 4 years, right when this contract would end, that's when the current TV deal ends and a new TV deal will sign. Few things have gained as much traction and momentum as professional sports since the last deal was signed. So it's believed that TV deal will be huge. That money can then be used by the owners. That means the salary cap will probably increase by a great amount once that happens. So I think this is actually a really good thing for the Cowboys because it's not going to hurt them in the long run because they're just getting ready and waiting for their salary cap to be expanded. Also, this is nice to see for Dak because he was balling out last year until he had that awful injury. I'm a Cowboys fan by no means, but it always sucks to see someone go through a terrible injury like that. So hopefully Dak can come back and be as good as ever. He's getting paid better than ever, so good for him. Wish him nothing but the best. Next, Les Miles and Kansas have parted ways. This is coming right after allegations that Les Miles was inappropriate with some of the female workers around the football team. Women in roles on and around the football team complained and said he was acting very inappropriate towards them. Kansas decided, hey, it's best for both of us just to walk away. We're going to go find a new coach. So Les Miles is out at Kansas. So we did have a few games of college basketball going on today. The West Coast Conference Tournament is currently going on. Yesterday, there were 2 different games. We had Gonzaga and St. Mary's. Gonzaga is most people's #1 team in the country right now. They're undefeated, playing great. Gonzaga is historically a great basketball organization, but a lot of the time the knocks on Gonzaga is that they're not playing tough enough competition throughout the year. I don't think that was the case this year. They always have BYU in the conference, which is usually a good matchup for them. And this year they beat teams like Kansas, West Virginia, who's having a really good year, Iowa, Virginia. Gonzaga has been able to take on and beat all of these different opponents. So I think they're looking really good. They handled St. Mary's really easily today, and tomorrow they'll play in the championship, and they're going to play the winner of the game between BYU and Pepperdine that also happened yesterday. Now that game was very close throughout the whole thing. Pepperdine held a lead throughout most of the game, but BYU would come back and tie it up or maybe get up by a couple points, and then Pepperdine would come back. I'd say the majority of this time it felt like Pepperdine was up by 3 points, so they were never comfortable, but they were usually in the lead. And then coming down the stretch, BYU took the lead. They were holding it to the end, and at the end of regulation, Pepperdine's best player, Colby Ross, came down, drove right in. Looked like he was about to pull up for a 3. They were down by 2. It looked like he was going to pull up for a 3 and go for the win. But he took one step inside the 3-point line and drained it right at the end of regulation. So we went into overtime. Overtime again was a lot of back and forth. I think this time BYU was probably that team that felt like they were up by 3 or 4 the whole time. But definitely didn't pull away. It was very close throughout the whole thing. And BYU ended up taking it. Now they'll go and play Gonzaga in the West Coast Conference Championship. So that was yesterday. The West Coast Conference Championship has been going on for a few days now. And there have been several other small tournaments going on up to this point. But today the ACC tournament begins, which will be super exciting. Tomorrow, most of the other big tournaments start. So we've got a big and exciting week ahead of us. Today, games that we're excited about and what we're going to be watching. Number one is Duke and Florida State. Neither of these teams are very good. So this is not an exciting, like, oh yeah, let's see what happens. But Duke is very interesting because the last time Duke did not make it to the NCAA tournament was 1995. That was the year I was born. They've been in the NCAA tournament ever since I was born. But this year, it's looking like they have no chance of making the tournament if they don't win the ACC tournament. But even though this is a bad year for them, it's tough to count Duke out. So I'm definitely going to be paying attention to that and seeing if they can spark anything and make anything happen and make a run at the ACC tournament. Other games going on in the ACC tournament today. Miami's playing Pitt, and Notre Dame is taking on Wake Forest. So that's what I'm going to be watching today. That's what I'll be paying attention to. Watch whatever you can, and I'll fill you in on whatever you missed. Thanks for being a busy fan.